We'll just admit people as they come in. Good afternoon, everybody. Great to see everybody on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon. Hopefully you're staying inside, poor air quality outside today. We thank you for joining us today. We think this is going to be a very valuable Zoom session for you to learn all the new important features going on with BrightMLS. So here with us today is your Customer Success Coach, Andrew Cucinotta. So if you've not met Andrew before, you'll be meeting with him today and you'll have opportunities to speak with him later in the seminar. So I'm going to go on and turn the floor over to Andrew to get started. And we'll just admit people as they come in because people will be coming in late. Andrew, it is all yours for the moment.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for having me. Donna, it's always a pleasure to be here with you guys. My name's Andrew Cucinotta. I am one of the customer success coaches here at Bright. I am your designated customer success coach. So I cover Philadelphia, amongst a few other counties, but Philadelphia is the important one today. So that's what we're going to talk about. Today, we're here to kind of discuss some of the newer products and updates that have kind of rolled out here with Bright over the last few months. A lot of stuff coming out. You know, we're kind of in overdrive here, it seems. We've launched a couple joint ventures with a couple other MLS systems to try to help bring some of these products and services to market a little sooner rather than later, because you know, you got to love the process, right? They say trust the process, a little more relevant for Philadelphia than some other geographic regions here in the Bright footprint. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, guys. Basically, what we're going to be going over, a couple things within Bright, some communication preferences. We're going to take a look at the news section. And then at a high level, we're going to take a look at some of these third-party products and services that we've helped bring to market and integrate into Bright. And then we are actually going to take a look at some of these services or products that we have here in the Bright suite. And then we're going to open it up to a Q&A so you guys can throw me some curveballs and hopefully keep me on my toes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And we're going to jump right into it, guys. All right, so Donna, if you could give me a thumbs up. You see my screen here? Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Little bit about me, right? Who am I? What's my relevance here at Bright? Why should you give me a call if you have a problem with Bright? Well, feel free to give the customer support center a call. I used to be in the support center. I've been here at Bright since before Bright was Bright. So for those of you that have been around since the days of Trend, kind of a throwback there at this point, I started with Trend in 2015. I've been fortunate to be a part of the help system. I used to author some help content for Trend and Bright, part of the listing management release when we rolled that out. So I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some back-end products or projects, I should say, in bringing these things to market. So I'd like to think I know a few things. Probably don't know everything, but I'd like to think I know a few things here. At least in terms of Bright and the MLS and how all of that works. So again, been here since 2015. I was in support. I am now a coach. I've been in general sales, customer service, support, front and back end for as long as I can remember, going all the way back to high school. So I'm from Philly, more or less. You know, those from Philly. You know, if you're not from Philly proper, you really can't say it, but, you know, other parts of the country, for all intents and purposes. I'm from Philadelphia, grew up in Delaware County, lived in Center City and pretty much everywhere there in between. And I went to Temple. So I'd like to think of myself as a local guy. So that's a little bit about me, you know, kind of my journey here at Bright. One of the first things I'd like to talk about today is association news, okay? I'll show you where all this is in the website, but you know, on your workspace or the landing page that you first hit when you log into Bright, off to the right-hand side, you're going to see a news section. You're going to see Bright News, Office News, and Association News, okay? For you guys, you want to pay attention off to the right-hand side, one, because when Bright posts something that you should know about, it's going to be off to the right. More importantly, when your association posts something in Bright that they want you to know about, it'll be off to the right-hand side. You're also going to have office news as well, and that's specifically geared to your office. But again, we're talking about the association today. The association should default as your primary option. So, just keep an eye on that. If there's ever anything terribly important that, we need to get out to you or your association needs to get out to you, well, one, yes, you're probably going to receive an email about it, but two, directly within the right environment, off to the right of the landing page, or as we call it, the workspace, you're going to see a news article section. So just keep that in mind and check on it occasionally. All right. So next, we're going to talk about some updates. Okay. BrightMLS is a very active development team. Okay. So it's important to stay on top of what changes are happening at Bright. I'm speaking a little more specifically to the release notes section of the news section, which can also be found at the upper left-hand side of the Bright website. So again, I'll show you where all this is in a couple minutes in the website. But you guys, there's always a lot happening in the real estate industry, I'm sure you guys are aware of. And we're going to talk about some other news outlets here in a couple moments. But you really need to try to stay on top of what's going on in the industry. Everything is moving lightning fast nowadays. Ever since the pivot to a more virtual platform in the days of COVID, things have been developing, my personal opinion, a little more quickly than they had in the past. So it is more important than ever to try to stay on top of some of these items. So we are going to take a look at your communication preferences here in a couple minutes to make sure that you're opted in or have an opportunity to receive those email notifications. Again, directly within Bright, you have the two news sections off to the right-hand side of the workspace and at the top left. But again, directly within the news section, there is a release notes section where you can see all the updates that our team is pushing to Bright on pretty much a bi-weekly basis. So we're going to take a look at that as well. And guys, if we have any questions as we're going through today, drop them in the chat. Just let me know. That's exactly what we're here for today. Another item that you guys are probably already aware of, or at least I certainly hope you are, MLS-Touch. Okay, this is our new mobile application. As many of you, or I hope many of you are aware that HomeSnap will be going away. Okay, it is no longer going to be offered as a core product within the Bright footprint or the Bright suite of services. Now, that's not really so much a decision as it is a requirement. That product is simply going away. The parent company CoStar is getting rid of it. I understand they may be rebranding under a different name. But again, as far as that product, HomeSnap is concerned, it is no longer going to be offered in Bright after June 30. All right. We now have MLS-Touch. Personal opinion, I think it's a little bit better than HomeSnap. There's some other features that in here that you don't really have with HomeSnap. Now, guys, keep in mind, it is a different product or service, okay? So HomeSnap isn't going to have everything that MLS-Touch has, and MLS-Touch isn't going to have everything that HomeSnap has, okay? So two of the key differences there are property lines, the virtual property line feature, and the filter for likelihood to list. Now, does similar information exist within MLS-Touch? Yes, it does. You don't really have the virtual property lines, but you can see the parcel lines on the map. Second, as far as the likelihood to list heat map, well, there's not a filter for it, but you do have a sell score in MLS-Touch. Now, as the product matures, I'm sure we're going to see some updates. Is that going to be one of the updates we're going to see? Well, only the future can tell. All right, but MLS-Touch, there's a couple different reasons why I like it a little bit more. One, you have a Facebook integration that operates on an automatic basis. So for those of you out there that might be paying for an IDX fee to facilitate listing information getting on your professional Facebook page, well, you don't really need that anymore, okay? It happens automatically, or at least for specific events. And we're going to dive a little bit into this, not with too great of depths. If you guys want to get with me, you need any help getting any of this set up, feel free to schedule a one-on-one. I'll show you where you can find my contact information on the website, and I'll drop my link in here towards the end, with Donna's blessing, of course. But yeah, guys, if you need any help with setting any of this up, I'd be happy to help. But again, why do I feel MLS-Touch is a little better than other products that we've had in the past? It talks directly to your Bright account. Okay, so there's none of this. Well, did they favorite the property in HomeSnap or my other app or whatever other kind of product or service you might use to interface with a client in a mobile setting? You don't have to worry about that anymore. It all talks to each other. So your contacts, your saved searches, client portal activity, carts, all of that stuff communicates on a cross-platform basis. So you send the client a property through the app and they favorite it. Well, guess what? You can see it in your web-based service as well, your BrightMLS account. So that was another part that I was pretty excited about. And the Facebook integration and the fact that it talks to your BrightMLS account. Those are probably the two biggest things in my mind that really stood out. You also have a brand and share feature, like that's actually what it's called there in the app, brand and share. Right? You know how you can invite a client through HomeSnap? Well, same thing applies here. More importantly, though, this isn't an exclusive app. Okay, so general consumer just can't download it. Okay, they have to be invited. Okay, so there is that element of exclusivity, which I feel kind of helps bolster that platform a bit. You have your regular search functions in there. And guys, keep in mind, it is an app, so you're not going to have all the bells and whistles that you have in Bright. You're not going to have all of those data fields that you can search by, but you're going to have all the important ones, or all the ones that you guys commonly use. Okay, and if there's something in there that you'd like in there that isn't in there, well, let us know. And again, as I said before, as the product matures, I'm sure you're going to see some updates rolled out. But the real-time property and market insights, there's a statistics function in there as well. So, I mean, there's a lot in it for a mobile application. You have your QR codes here up on the screen, and you might have guessed it. If you're on an iPhone, you'll scan this Apple QR code, and then if you're on an Android, well, Google Play icon right there in the middle, you'll scan that one. Alternatively, just go to the App Store, whichever one you use, and just search MLS-Touch, and you'll see it. Download it. If you have any trouble with download or setup, the one somewhat confusing item there, I might argue, was you don't actually select your state. You choose Bright area. Okay. But I certainly hope everybody already has it downloaded. But again, if you haven't and you have any trouble, just let me know and I'd be happy to help. So that's MLS-Touch. We're going to take a brief look at that here in a couple minutes. Guys, RISMedia, Inman News. Some of you might be wondering what exactly that is. A fair question. Inman News is an industry, or should I say was an industry news outlet that we kind of had integrated here into Bright, kind of brought to you in conjunction by Bright and your association. Well, now we are primarily going with RISMedia, okay, just a different media outlet, a different industry news vendor, if you will. And the reason we've gone with RISMedia is, well, we just had more adoption, more people actively utilizing that as opposed to Inman. And with both being a cost item and everybody using RISMedia, well, we felt it prudent to go with RISMedia. Now, it is if you were to go with RISMedia outside of Bright, just on a standalone basis, you'd be spending a couple $100s a year. It's part of your Bright subscription for free. All right. So if you are interested in maintaining that Inman News service, you can contact Inman. We've kind of worked out a bit of a special rate for anybody that chooses to continue with that product or service, but not going to be included in Bright anymore. But RISMedia, I wouldn't really call them the new guy on the block, but they do have definitely some good content. I would encourage you guys to get in there and check it out. Okay. Again, off to the right-hand side of the news section in Bright. All right. So let me know if you have any questions there. Happy to answer anything. But we're going to go ahead and continue forward with Nestfully. All right. For those of you guys that have been keeping your ear to the ground, we rolled out the Nestfully website, I guess about a month or two ago at this point. And we now have a mobile application. Okay. So with everybody using phones nowadays, we wanted to create a platform that allowed the general public to engage with agents and listing information in a fashion that, we can help manage and monitor. Okay, so, I was talking about some joint ventures that BrightMLS has entered into. Well, Nestfully is one of them. Nestfully is a joint venture between California Regional and RE Colorado. So MLS owned and controlled for you guys, the agents. Now, what exactly is Nestfully? Well, it's an interface, a general consumer platform where the public can go to find listing information and connect with agents. Now, like, what's the benefit to it or should I say, what is the benefit of Nestfully to you, the agents and brokers? Well, ultimately, it's free leads. All right. So BrightMLS has always had a public portal. Was BrightMLSHomes.com. We'll be sunsetting that soon, but we now have Nestfully. So, with the steam of two other large MLS systems plus Bright behind Nestfully, it's gaining traction more quickly, and it's generating leads quicker than BrightMLS Homes had. So what is the benefit? Well, free leads back to you at no additional cost. There's nothing you guys need to do as agents. By default, leads are going to get routed back to you guys, the agents, unless otherwise directed by the broker of record, right? These are the broker's leads. But again, by default, they go to you, the agent. Broker of record can redirect those to like a single source inbox. Okay. So Nestfully, in short, it's just more leads for you guys, the agents. Okay. Any listings that pop up on Nestfully and has a consumer click on it to request more information, showing, or contact agent, all of that shows up in your inbox as a lead from leads@nestfully.com. So that might be an email address you want to save, leads@nestfully.com. All right, so keep an eye out for that. I'm pretty excited about that. And again, it's nothing you guys need to do. It's just a value add, really. All right. So another one, Cubi Casa, a little newer. I wouldn't be surprised if too many of you haven't heard about it. It wasn't quiet rollout by any means, so I hope most of you have. But Cubi Casa, what exactly is it? It's a floor plan tool. So it's a really interesting app. It's free. Okay, you get it with your Bright subscription, and I should say it's free up into 5,000 square foot. Okay, if you're doing a floor plan of a home with more than 5,000 square foot, I think it's $10 for the floor plan. And it's typically about always within the 24-hour turnaround time. Cited turnaround is 6 hours. I've never seen anything take longer than 24. So it is pretty quick, guys. And you can actually even pay for a reduced turnaround time. So like if you need it like in an hour or two, you can actually get a full and complete floor plan. And I believe the stated degree of accuracy was upwards of 95, 98%. So an incredibly accurate tool. And I haven't even gone over how it does it. I mean, all you do is just take a video. There is some instruction while you go through the process of taking this video. Okay, so steady movement, slow panning, but it generates a floor plan from a video you take of the interior of the home. I was kind of floored by that, especially when they cited 95 to 98 degree or percent accuracy. So definitely an interesting add-on here. Again, free up until 5,000 square feet. And, I think for most of us operating within the Philadelphia footprint, no, I don't know, maybe not most of us, but, 5,000 square foot up to for free. I don't know. I'd say that's a pretty good deal. So feel free to take a look at that. Download the app, Cubi Casa. You'll find plenty of information about Cubi Casa in the BrightMLS news section. So again, upper left-hand side of that landing page or the workspace, you see news, click on it. You'll see a search bar. Type in Cubi Casa. You're going to see a bunch of articles pop up. And I'll show you where that is again in a couple minutes. But we're going to go ahead and kind of continue forward here. Listing preview. Okay, this is something that has been in the works for a while, something that has been requested for a while. So we were able to build it out. Now, it's been rolled out in 3 different phases, okay, because it is a relatively complex kind of back-end tool. because you basically have to build another environment to display this information before it goes out to the MLS. So it's taken a little bit of time to put together, but I am proud to say that it is now available. Again, I'll show you this in a couple minutes. But in short, what it does is it allows you to basically look at the listing before it's published to try to identify any errors. More importantly, it now allows you to share it with the consumer, broker of record, office manager, a couple different people. Now, when you're sharing it with people outside of the kind of real estate environment, it is going to require like a dual step or two-step verification in order to view it, and it is time sensitive. It will expire, right? Because we don't want people advertising their listing before it hits the market with this preview feature, because that would be an inherent violation, right? So there is a two-step verification for those outside of that real estate industry. Anybody previewing it is going to have an expiration. It is going to be a two-step verification of you. So you can share it with your seller before you publish. So no more of, well, I told you this price versus that price, or I told you I wanted this photo first instead of that photo. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You share it with them. They look at it. They say it looks good. They approve it. You're good to go. You publish. Okay. So that way, if anything happens, you can say, well, we both previewed it together. Unfortunately, we didn't catch it. Let me go ahead and get that fixed. Always an element of tact you have with that delivery there. So how you guys deliver that is up to you. But we do now have a preview feature available for a listing prior to publish. So we're going to take a look at that in a couple minutes. But as I just mentioned, it allows the seller to confirm the details of the listing prior to publish. So it prevents any of that, well, he said, she said, back and forth. Very easy for the client to access. It's a very straightforward, well, I won't say it's straightforward, but it's a very clear process in how to view that information. Again, the reason why I kind of retracted that straightforward is because it's a two-step verification, and sometimes people have trouble with that. So definitely happy and proud that that's now out. It's a long time coming, so hopefully you guys use it. Hopefully you enjoy it. And if you don't, well, I'd be curious to hear your feedback. Okay, that is something that we're always trying to do here, is improve the system for you guys, the agents. So if anything seems to be operating a little wonky, maybe not so user-friendly, I'd like to hear about it. Okay, so please reach out to me. Let me know. That is one of my primary responsibilities, is communicating this feedback to our senior leadership in a clear and effective manner. So please get with me if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. All right, so that's listing preview. That is available. All right. Now, I am going to go ahead and now we're going to jump over to the BrightMLS website so we can actually take a look at a couple of these features or where they live. We are going to take a look at a couple of those apps, Nestfully, MLS-Touch, and just a brief look at Cubi Casa. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my BrightMLS window here off to the right. You guys can see it. You guys now should be seeing my BrightMLS landing page, or workspace as we call it. Okay, upper left-hand side, this is where you have your news section. So we're first going to explore the general news section. Okay, as I mentioned, if you need to search for any kind of anything that we're recently putting out, just come here in the news articles section and just type it in the search bar. Cubi Casa, type it out, you'll see all the articles. But scrolling down here, you see general news, market research, probably one of my favorite sections. This is where I will toot Bright's horn for a quick second. We are the only MLS with an economist, a chief economist on board, okay? We actually now have a junior economist, or like a secondary economist as well. So Lisa is very frequently releasing a lot of reports for you guys. We post those PowerPoint presentations as well, with all of those metrics, all of those graphs. Gives you something to talk about in your own social media. Okay, so one of the easiest ways to form a following nowadays is through that social media, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know, whatever you guys are using nowadays. There's a lot of them out there. But frequency and relevance of content, guys. You have tons of content. It's up to you to manage the frequency in which you post that content, but you have a ton of it in Bright. So use it. All right. But coming down here, you have product updates. when we're rolling out stuff like Cubi Casa or dropping a product, all that's going to be right here in product updates. But one of the more important sections in my mind are release notes, guys. You want to stay up to date with the kinds of changes or, what exactly is changing within Bright. When we're making an update to listing management, that's something you guys want to know about. If we're changing the way a particular data field is reported on, that's something you're going to want to know about. Okay. So, for example, we're changing the way in which you search by on-market date. So we're refining the system to try to make it more and more accurate. Okay, just like with all products, as they mature and as they age, they get refined. Bright is no different. Okay, so this is the news section. Keep your eye on release notes, definitely very important. Okay, I'm going to jump back to the home screen by clicking on the Bright logo at the upper left-hand side. Now, one of the things you might have noticed, as we discussed, off to the right, you'll see any of the news articles that we're posting. Okay, again, Bright News, Office News. Nobody from the Bright office has posted any articles recently, which is not abnormal because we're not a real brokerage. We're just Bright. Okay, but association news, this is where you likely want to spend a little more focus. All right, anytime one of your associations, well, in this case, I have a couple different associations that I work with, but for you guys, you'll likely only have one or two. And if you're not seeing Greater Philadelphia populate here, we need to get it added to your account. Okay, so definitely want to make sure you see GPAR over here, Greater Philadelphia. All right. Now I can click into this section and it shows me any of the associations that I am affiliated with. I can go to view all association news, and you can see I have GPAR here. All right, so anything that Donna or Matt, anybody over there at the association, anything that they're posting that they want you to know about in Bright, you'll see it here. Okay. Yes. Will they send you an email? More than likely, but here within Bright, you can see the association news as well. Okay. So make sure you're checking that with some frequency. Glance down over there at the right when you log in every morning to check your hot sheet or your market watch. You want to make sure you know what's going on in the industry, especially at your local association level. So make sure you always check GPAR. All right.
Hey, Drew, can I interject one moment quickly?
Absolutely.
On the news portion, I do apologize.
No.
I just wanted to point out to members that the date that you see on the side is not the date of the offering. That is the date that it is posted. It's done blog style. Therefore, with GPAR, we try to always include the date of the event, the educational series, the webinar, whatever is going on within the body, the main title of, but that outside date is not the date of the event. That is simply the date it was posted. Sorry to interject there.
No apology necessary. Jump in at any time, Donna. I tend to talk a little fast from time to time, guys. So if I'm moving a little quick, just let me, throw it in the chat. Tell me to slow down. But it's always good to have a second set of eyes in here. So Donna, please jump in at any time, okay? And let me know if I should slow down as well, okay? All right, guys. So a little bit about association news, Bright news. Now I would just like to briefly double check on your communication preferences. And while we're at it, I'm going to double check or show you where you guys can double check to make sure that you have your association on file. Not only is it important for news information, but you guys, might register a little bit higher in that priority list. It affects your billing as well. Okay, if you don't have your association on file, you're likely getting overcharged. Okay, guys, so make sure you have it on your account. Now, where do we double check that? We're going to go to your name at the top right. Then we click into account and settings. Once here in account and settings, the two sections that we're going to take a look at are communication preferences and license association MLS. First, since it's the first in the list, we'll take a look at license association MLS. Okay, you can see I have my fake license information here. For those of you that have been licensed for less than 2 years, chances are not much to update. Licensed more than 2 years, you might want to come in here and double check. And the only reason why I say that is because that 2-year renewal period. Okay, make sure you have the correct expiration of your license. It's pretty much it there for license information. But as you come down here, you have your association information. Now you can see I've worked with a bunch in the past, so I have them all here, any that I've ever worked with. So you guys should all have Greater Philadelphia Association. If you're in this meeting, I take it you're a member of the board. If you're a member of the board, this should be on your account. Okay. If it's not, add it. If you're having trouble, let me know and we'll get together and I'll help you add it. All right. But should definitely have this on the account. This is in part what drives that news function for GPAR on your homepage. If you don't have GPAR here, that news section under association isn't going to load because it doesn't know what to load if you don't tell it what to load. Okay. So go ahead and make sure you have that in there. All right. That's pretty much it for this section. Going back to my subscription across the top, we're going to scroll down just to the next row, third row in the middle, communication preferences. Okay, so we're going to click on this and it's just going to open up some toggles here. Okay, so you can see I have all of mine turned off because I get them anyway as a staff member. Okay, you guys as an agent or broker, appraiser, anybody in the crowd here today, weekly update newsletter, I'd probably turn it on. Market stats, well, if you're a number guy like myself, you probably want that on as well. Training and events, I don't know, how involved do you want to be with it? I would say you want to turn them on, but you know, pretty much all of these are your preference. How involved and up to date do you want to be? Well, I would imagine as much as possible. So if that be the case, you're going to want to turn these all on. Okay. The one thing that I will say, you know, again, none of these are required, but you know, if I could make any of these requirements, it would be listing alert summary emails. Guys, we're talking about new products and services, stuff that's coming out here in the Bright suite of services that you guys can use. So one might argue a little off topic, but I am gonna mention this because it's part of the story. So I figured I'd tell it, right? Listing alert summary emails. Turn it on. It's just going to save you some headache in the future. Now, the reason I say that is drawing from my customer support experience. I can't tell you how many times an agent would call in and say, hey, why did my listing just expire? Well, if you had this turned on, you would have gotten an email letting you know before that happened. But two, well, it was just a user error. Point is, when your listing is approaching milestone date changes, if you turn listing alert summary emails on, you're going to be notified of it. So your listing won't accidentally or prematurely close because your settlement had gotten pushed back and you just didn't update it in Bright. It's a good thing to turn on. Okay, I could talk about it at length, but I'm not going to. Turn it on. It's going to save you a headache in the future. I can almost guarantee it. Okay, at minimum, it's going to keep accuracy and policy off your back for failing to update something on time. Okay. So it's just a good thing to have. Everything else, I'd say ultimately is preferential, but I'd say turn it on if you want to be as knowledgeable and up to date with what's going on in the market and at the MLS. Okay. So that's communication preferences, guys. Certainly a pretty important item. In my mind, you guys may feel a little differently, and I respect that if that be the case, but turn them on if you can. Okay. So that was your communication preferences, license and association information. Now we're actually going to take a look at the listing preview and some of the other functions that we have here in Bright. So first, I would like to take a look at listing preview. So, you know, for those of you out there that are listing properties, which I hope all of you are, and to that end, if you guys need any assistance with farming an area, how to generate labels, anything in Bright, give me a shout. I'd be more than happy to help show you how to get those labels out and, you know, generate a meaningful marketing campaign out of the Bright system. But once you have that listing contract and you've entered it into Bright under the add and edit listing screen, there you go. All right. So we can see here, I just have a random photo uploaded. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to share this listing with my client. Now I go into the edit feature. Oh, that's the wrong listing. That's the wrong listing again. I think Drexel Avenue, third time should be a charm. There it is. All right. So the key item with the listing preview. Okay, you have to have all of the required fields filled out before you can view or share the preview. So you can't have any red dots over here. So notice I have no red dots. All my required fields are filled out. I am ready to go ahead and share this listing if I want to. Now, one of the key items is listing preview participants. So in the transaction participants section, you have to list out who you're going to share it with if you're sharing it with anybody outside of your real estate industry colleagues, right? So broker record, office manager, people like this. If you want to share it with the owner, well, you have to add them as an owner, okay? So I could add owner 2, type in, wife's name, telephone number, email. You can see here, I've added myself. Yes, you should put a last name, but just for, demo purposes. Owner name, email, you don't need to add the telephone number. It's really just owner name, and email is required. Okay, now that that's added, I can come up here to listing options. I could preview the draft myself, or I could share the draft. I would always encourage a preview prior to the share. All right, so this is what our preview looks like. We scroll down. I don't have any additional documents or what are the other ones? Virtual tours. I have my mapping location here off to the right. And I would just say click on this expand all button, and you can see all of the listing data. So if this looks good, listing options, share draft. Okay. It opens up this, and we can see I can go ahead and share this out with my owner. I don't really need to share it with myself, but say I was an office admin and I needed to share it with a listing agent to get the green light for publish. Or maybe I wanted to share it with my 2 office managers and my broker of record. Well, then I can send that out. I'm not going to go ahead and click the send button because I don't want to bog any of these people down with test requests. But you can then click send, and it will kick that out to those parties for approval and review of the draft. So that way, everything's very transparent. There's none of this, well, you didn't do this or that. Well, I presented it to you for approval and you approved it, so I published it. All right, so it kind of takes some of the guesswork out of it. And that was a long time coming. So that is listing preview. Guys, we've covered a good bit so far. I'd like to pause for just a moment and see if we have any questions. Donna, have I missed anything yet? We do still have to go over MLS-Touch, Cubi Casa, and I'm going to do a quick look at the Nestfully mobile app. But Donna, is there anything that I've missed so far? Anything that you want to add about anything that we've covered?
Nothing that you missed that I'm aware of, but I think that somewhere between now and the end, we will go over the one-on-one training sessions as well as the other training sessions that BrightMLS does offer and how they can register to be part of those sessions.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are absolutely going to touch on training. Guys, I'd like to see more of you at some of these association trainings and some of these webinars. This is stuff that I do report on and look at to see who's attending what. So I do want to see more of you guys here in Philly in some of my sessions. It's always good to see hometown people there. So we'll take a look at all that in just a second. While we're talking about that, I am going to drop my one-on-one link in here in the group chat. All right. So this, I half jokingly refer to that calendly.com link that I just threw in there. I half jokingly refer to that as your key to my virtual office store. It quite literally gives you access to my calendar and the ability to place an appointment on my calendar. So, with that, don't go crazy, guys, but, feel free to schedule away. All right. That's exactly what I am here for. All right. So use that link. If you ever find yourself in a pickle, use the link, schedule a one-on-one, and we can tackle whatever it is you're going over. If it's like deathly urgent, give me a call or contact the support center. Support center here is 8 to 8 weekdays, 9 to 6 weekends. Now, we are going to take a look at some more training opportunities here in just a moment, but I am going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and pull up. Give me just a second, guys. I'm going to go ahead and share my mobile device. So we can show you guys some of these neat and interesting features here that we have from Bright. Okay. All right. All right, that's not giving me the full screen, guys. Give me just a second. All right, so what do they say? Second time's a charm, right? There we go. So now we got the full screen. So first, we're going to take a look at MLS-Touch. All right, so remember, guys, this is the agent style version. The agent style version that you are using will say MLS-Touch at the top. Now, the invited client version is called MLS Client, that little bluer icon off to the left. So when you invite somebody to engage with you in the mobile app, your client or consumer, this is kind of what it would look like. Now, up here at the top, I didn't use my Bright logo. You know, I called a half decent photo of an old Lincoln coming down the road. So I'm a fan of cars, so I decided to use that as my logo. So this is kind of what my consumer would see if I were to invite them to engage with me on the MLS-Touch app. Okay, so it gives them this My Agent page. All right, so this is kind of what it would look like if I were an agent and I had invited somebody. Now you can see my preferred name doesn't have the capital D. Well, that's really just a function of my preferred name in BrightMLS, because keep in mind, guys, the information here in the app is sourced from the website. All right, so if I come back home, again, this is the consumer version. This is the agent version. Okay, so I talked about two features, or kind of three functions, two features that I really liked about the app: brand and share. Okay, so that's how I branded it with the the Lincoln. For those of you in some of the larger brokerages, we have some presets in here. There is a limitation on that. We can only have so many preloaded, so we did what we could there. Aside from that, you can tap on that select button. It'll take you into the photos on your current device, so you can upload a logo. I am not going to do that because I'm not sure all what photos I have currently in that photo reel, so we're going to leave that alone. If you wanted to preview it from this section, we can go ahead and tap preview. We can see what the email would look like, the listing layout, and the branded mobile app. So just as I showed you a second ago, what that consumer version looks like, well, if I come in here, tap preview, it gives me a preview. I would encourage you guys to kind of set yourself up as a faux client within the app, or kind of invite yourself as a fake client to the app, just so you can see what that consumer interface looks like and get better acclimated with it. Again, any questions, feel free to get with me in a one-on-one. I'd be happy to help. And then you can share the app. Okay, so if you share the app, so you can send by like a text message or SMS or email, and if you do that, the consumer is going to be asked for a verification code. I am going to throw it out there and ask for some participation. Can anybody guess what they think the verification code might be, looking at the information here on the screen? Donna, I don't know if anybody has the ability to take themselves off mute, but if you want to throw it in the chat or take yourself off mute, if you can, what do you guys think that verification code might be? I'll give a couple seconds to see if we have anybody brave enough to risk it or take a stab in the dark there. Okay, well, that verification code is everything after the /. Okay, so that was one of the things that kind of threw me to start. So anytime your client has asked for a verification code once invited to this mobile app, it's everything after the /. So that EDF, so on and so forth, that is the verification code. All right. So that's the brand and share component. We're going to back out. So yeah, similar to what you currently have. Now, matrix integrations, right? I got a little excited there when I started talking about the fact that it actually talks to your Bright account. All right. Now, not all of these operate in a true two-way street, and I'll explain in a second. Now, the contact sync. Any contacts you add on the website will show up in the app and vice versa. Okay. The client portal sync. all of your client activity through the client portal will be cross-platform communication. So anything that happens in the app shows up on the website. Anything happens on the website shows up in the app. So two-way street, okay? Now I'm going to skip 3. 4, carts sync. The carts across both platforms will communicate. Now, save searches. Anything done on the website shows up in the app, but not everything, nothing, no save searches created on the app will show up in the website. Okay, so that is the one item that is not a two-way street. It only goes one way. So it goes from website to app, but not app to website. And that is a function of data and mapping, as I understand it. So as I understand, it's really just a system limitation there. So, technology, it's great when it's, working, perfectly, but kind of a pain when it doesn't. So I would say that one item for save searches is, really the only detriment that I can really pick out so far. Next, the Facebook publishing tool, guys. Again, that has the potential to save you some money right off the bat, depending on what kind of products or services you already have. Okay, but there are 4 events or change types that can occur on a listing of yours that will create an automatic posting directly to Facebook. Okay, now it does have to be a professional Facebook page, can't be a personal. But if you have a professional Facebook page, you can tap into Facebook publishing tool, you can connect the two, set up whatever it is that you want to automatically publish or not. So the 4 items or event changes that can occur on a listing that will cause that has the potential to cause an automatic publishing over to Facebook is a new listing, an open house, a price reduction, and a recently closed listing, right? Everybody likes to put out those recently closed. Hey, I just helped Joe and Joe, buy the house over here at 123 Main Street. Maybe I was able to get them 10 grand off. I don't even know if that's something that you guys could ethically say, but whatever. I helped my client get a great price on this wonderful home down the street. Give me a call if you've been looking to buy or sell. So you can call, or you can set it up so that an automatic publish will occur or post will occur to Facebook. And then you can customize the language around those types of events. So for a new listing, it's like, hey, new to the market, give me a call if you want to take a look. Telephone number and email. For the recently closed, whatever language you could, get creative. Open house, hey, we'll have lunch and, refreshments. Bring your checkbook. I don't know. Get creative there, guys. There's a lot of opportunity with that. So those are probably the 3 items that I was most excited about. And then you have some help and quick reference guides here, or getting started guides like Discover MLS-Touch, Help Center. So in my mind, a pretty comprehensive app. Contacts. Okay. Now notice at the top you have contacts and leads. I don't have any leads yet. But basically what you can do when you have your general share link for this application, somebody stumbles across that in any of the material that you've been publishing online, they can access this and basically request to interact with you. You'll then see an accept reject request in this lead section. If you accept, then they migrate to contacts and then effectively migrate into your Bright account. Not like they particularly have access to anything. It's just they are automatically then added as a contact if you accept the lead. So you can then begin engaging with them through the mobile app or the BrightMLS website. We do have some interesting integrations happening here, none of which I can really speak to much effect, but at a very high level, I guess I could say we are working on a start to finish lead generation, capture, development to engagement. So like a start to finish lead capture environment, from general public and engagement to warm lead, if you will, to engaged client. So I am excited to see some of that coming to fruition. And keep your ear on the ground for some news articles and updates. I'm pretty excited about that. So can't talk a whole lot about that. But yeah, keep your ear on the ground for some news articles for that. I think you guys will be pretty pleased about that. So that's MLS-Touch, okay? You know, relatively straightforward. You go into search here, tap reset filters. I like the map search. You can do whatever you'd like. You can go to advanced search. You have the list feature. You have the stats function from, you know, wherever it is you're looking at there on the map. You know, coming back here, you have Insta View. It's more or less a near me feature. You have hot sheets. Hot sheets are not the same as they are on the website. Guys, keep in mind, it's an app. Everything's going to operate just a wee bit differently. All right, so that's MLS-Touch. I'd like to pause for a quick second. We're kind of getting the time. Do we have any questions so far? Anything at all, guys? If we do, throw it out there. It's exactly what I'm here for today. Kathy, Carissa, Cindy, Fred, Jay, Juan, Matthew, anybody? All right, no questions. And don't worry, you'll be able to ask some more questions in the future if you have any. But let's take a look at Nestfully. All right. Nestfully, is this an agent style app? No. Would an agent be using this app? No, not unless you wanted to see what it would look like from the consumer perspective. Would you particularly steer a client to Nestfully.com? No, I don't think I would recommend that. Is this something that you might want to talk about in terms of, you know, general services available to the general public? Yes. Would you advertise Nestfully over your own website? No, probably not, because it's going to give them an opportunity to engage or interact with another agent. So if I tap in here to Nestfully, I can see I'm down here in the Washington area. Maybe I come up here to the Philly region, and I don't know, let's see what we have happening on the Lower Main Line. Wouldn't it be nice if you had the budget, right? So that's oh, that one's only $1 million, right? So say I wanted to take a look at that, see what's going on there. And again, keep in mind, I'm kind of operating, well, my phone just died. All right, guys. So give me about 30 seconds to get that rebooted. And but Nestfully.com, guys, it's really just a website where the general public can go to get listing information. All right. Now, the other item that we had there to go over was Cubi Casa. So I'll briefly continue to speak about Nestfully. But again, I mean, from the agent perspective, there's really not a whole lot to talk about there. In short, it's a lead gen platform for you guys. So general public can interact on the app or on the website. They can take a look at listing information. And on those listings, they'll have a schedule a showing button, which will then, that'll basically pass a showing request. There we go. For some reason, we now have two screens up, but just focus there on the right. Donna, can you see it again? Perfect. All right. Thank you. Oh, perfect. All right. So Nestfully, here we go. Let me just come back here to that one listing. All right. Now from here, you can see for sale. It was recently listed. It's new. That's a 7-day window, last I recall. And then we have the open house info. We can tap into it, and I can schedule a tour there at the upper right-hand side. Now, again, keeping in mind, this is a consumer interface, guys. This is not particularly something you would use as an agent or steer your client to. But you can see all the listing information. I can do street view, driving directions. I can get alerts. I can request more information. And then down here at the bottom, I have that contact feature. All of those are going to generate a lead to list agent. Okay. Now, I also have the ability to favorite that property. Now, this is for my own personal reference. Okay. I also have a note section down here somewhere where I, the consumer, can add notes about that property. Now, that is just for me. The notes and the favoriting, that does not go back to the agent. That's just for me as the consumer. Okay. And then you kind of have the Nestfully menu where I can take a look at my saved searches or saved properties. I can also take a look at a mortgage calculator. Okay. So, you know, just another value add, guys. Again, really nothing for you to do here as agents. It is a consumer interface. Now, the last item that we are really going to talk about today is Cubi Casa. Again, not really a whole lot to it. You take a video of the interior of the home, you follow some of those instructions that pop up on screen as you are recording to ensure that you get a good measurement. But if you follow that on-screen help, you guys are going to get, I think, 95 to 98% accuracy as far as the square footage of the home. Don't quote me on that citation, but I know it is incredibly high degree of accuracy. Okay, so you come in here. I would say first take a look at the how to scan. Come down here to the scan feature. You select the kind of property, single house, confirm. You can use location and the GPS. You will want to use, or should I say, grant this application permission to your location services in order for it to work the best. Okay, so a pretty interesting feature, free of charge if under 5,000 square feet. So for those of you working in those homes above 5,000 square feet, I believe it's a $10 charge for the footprint or the floor plan, I should say, sorry. So just another kind of option or tool in your toolbox here at Bright. So aside from that, guys, I would just like to briefly talk about some of the training opportunities that you guys have. Coming back to the Bright home screen, education across the top. Okay, so I gave you guys my private one-on-one link. Now that'll be a true private one-on-one, and you'll always get me using that link in the group chat. Maybe you didn't like my cadence flow. Maybe you just don't like me. That's fine. To each their own. You have the connect with a coach option here under education. Okay, that'll connect you with any of the coaches here at Bright. Not necessarily, I mean, it could be me. It could be any of the other coaches here. All right. So probably going to have better availability because you have 8 some odd coaches supporting that calendar as opposed to the one that I dropped in the chat. But again, you're talking about anybody here at Bright versus me directly. So of course, this one's going to have better availability. So feel free to use this option. If you really find yourself in a bind and you need to talk to a coach, use this option. Aside from that, you are going to want to take a look at association training. Now, guys, I'm getting ready to load up quarter 3 training, so you're not going to see a whole lot moving forward for Greater Philly or really too many of the associations at this point. But if you go to all courses, you scroll down here, we're going to see the G's, and we should see Greater Philadelphia. Okay, click on Greater Philadelphia. I think maybe we only have 1 or 2 coming up. Yeah, so Donna, side note, I'm going to be loading those up here in about the next week or so. But we do have some training coming up on the 19th, specifically for accuracy and policy. You guys don't want to get on accuracy and policy's radar, okay? Not a good place to be. I'll show you how to fly stealth. Get with me in this session here. We'll take a look at some of the common violations that people get tagged for. So, come here, check out some of the training. Now, I will also say, if you go to all classes, guys, a lot of these sessions are still being hosted virtually, but do I want you here in my Philadelphia Association training? Absolutely, okay? But, if you want to join some of these other streaming or webinar-based trainings, please feel free, okay? You're not boxed into only that one particular training, okay? Again, it is online, it's virtual, it's held via Zoom. But guys, when we have an opportunity for an in-person session, I hope to see you there. All right, so that is some of your training opportunity within Bright. I really hope to see you at some of the Greater Philly Association events and training. Guys, being engaged with your association is pretty important, okay? It's a realtor network, okay? You guys effectively support one another, okay? So get involved with your association. Get involved with your community, Chamber of Commerce, things like this. That is how you are going to brand yourself as the expert. And of course, knowing a few statistics here and there never hurt. So if you want to get with me on some of those statistics, go to market, create custom reports, check some of these out, join me in a one-on-one. Donna, I think I've covered everything. I'd like to pass it back to you to see if I've missed anything.
Not that I'm aware of. I think you've done a great job. Thank you, Andrew. Does anybody within the room have any questions for Andrew? You can unmute. We can have a little interactive session for a few minutes if you would like. If not, then we are going to wrap it up. But let me first thank all of you for being here. I felt it was very important for our members to be made aware of all the goings on and changes going on with Bright. This session will be uploaded, to our YouTube channel. So please pass the message for members who have missed that they will be able to visit our YouTube channel to view this session. Also, on June 21st, which you'll see going out by email, we are going to have a happy hour down along the river. The name of the venue is escaping me. I do apologize. I'm not sitting at my desk right now, but if you check email, and one of the other things, if you don't want to be searching through your email as things were going on, what Andrew spoke about is this association news. If you don't want to dig through your email, just pop on your Bright MLS and look at your association news and all events. And so that particular one's not on there yet, but will be today. You'll be able to find all your events and necessary links, any further information under that association news. So we hope to see you there. Other than that, everybody have a great summer. We think June 21st be a great time to kick off the summer with one another, as we haven't been together in some time. We'll have a few seminars through the summer. Be on the lookout through your email. And again, check association news. Thank you, Andrew, very much for being with us here today and for providing all of that information.
Yeah, it was
other than that,
absolutely my
bid everyone
pleasure.
farewell. Okay, Andrew, I'm sorry, what was that?
No, I just wanted to say thank you for having me. You know, I hope to see you guys down there on the waterfront. It's always nice to get down there. So, yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you again for having me. Guys, never hesitate to reach out. That goes for everybody in here today. I'm